Hello. Okay, let's go.
Is Jake back?
Yeah.
Okay. But okay, let me ask
So,
you guys one thing. Can you guys individually just tell me the plot of this movie? What is this movie about? Let's start with you, Jake.
Interstellar traveler that has to clean the world of humans is faced with a dilemma when he comes into contact with a hidden society that opposes his goals.
Okay. That seems somewhat like a description, but there's a lot more going on in the movie. Tom, why don't you take like a gander?
um, I mean, for me, it's this sort of destructive person from a primitive world who travels to another society and finds that they're a place that shows like compassion and sort of cultish love towards each other, and he disrupts their life by introducing his ideal his life experiences, I guess, is of of um of executioning of killing people. You know, he brings ugliness to them, but then he discovers that the society itself is ugly, that it does, you know, immoral things themselves. They just don't recognize it.
Okay. Definitely got a lot more of the plot. I'll just like quote what the IMDb description is, and then I'll point out some of the things like we all missed in the movie. In the late 23rd century, a savage trained only to kill finds a way into the community of bored immortals that alone preserve humanity's achievements. So it's set in 2020, 2293, in the year
Okay.
293. Okay. So that's the plot you guys said of the movie. And some of the things that do happen, uh, they all share a hive mind.
Mm.
They all have like endlessly dull, boring dinner parties where everyone is bored out of their mind. Like, um, there he is a mutant engineered by them, but in the end, he has a baby with Charlotte Rampling, which is some kind of cure for the world with a son that grows up in like 2 minutes in front of their eyes, or it's like a fast aging or de-aging process. Just these are some of the things that happen in the movie, which neither of our or the IMDb synopsis can encapsulate. So
So
these
this
like,
is
tangents this movie takes is what makes it so bizarre.
so this society created them.
Yeah, right? Jake, are we
I
wrong?
I didn't I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they needed to keep the Badlands tame and regulated and keep people out of their garden.
And these guys apparently began with like the smartest scientists in the world or whatever, decided to
Okay.
start like immortality.
Right. And then
And I mean, the
they
set
kept them
design, production design is fucking amazing. Like when they're announcing the immortality like thing, like it's super 70s. Like those long columns, everyone's like outfits. This film is a time capsule for sure. For
so
anyone to
so
like
they kept but they kept Sean Connery's people ignorant, right? They didn't teach them to read. Yeah.
but those are bred killers, right? The Zeds.
Yeah, they're bred to
They're like
clean.
fanatics. They're like fanatics of they the whoever this magician guy is. So my understanding is the Eternal Society is the smartest people. It's a class divide.
Right,
They
right.
control everything. They're like the top, the elite, the creme de la creme, the brass.
Yeah.
And out of
The
their
Rothschilds. Let's just say it. The
Rothschild,
Rothschilds.
the Illuminati that controls the
Oh,
lizard
well, it was
people.
nice knowing you guys. Bye.
And so
Coming
these
to get me.
guys have problems in the Badlands, and they needed a solution for that. And
I see.
all of these like
Okay.
fancy people are too busy like having like endless debates and discussions about problems
Right.
that no one is like,
Intellectuals.
ready to take care of this, apart from the Zardoz character, who
Mm.
is a fucking kinky weirdo. like
Really? Okay. So, but there's a lot of like really like cynical, critical
it's
ideas here
super
because
fatalist. It's like what
they're
they're saying,
saying,
like kill the world, and like humans are a disease. Gun is good,
yes, yeah,
penis is
that's
equal.
really a big
That's
one.
fucking wild. That's a
That's
lot
a
of
big
like
one.
60s. Like that was like this movie is a bad acid trip, bro.
I think
Not a good one.
I think that's what they think that the intellectual society would think like, but also like they're also saying like, oh, let's keep them ignorant and spiritual, like because religion tends to be like what people
The
causes
opium
them
of
to
the
be like,
masses.
yeah, yeah,
Religion is the opium of the masses.
and that's what Zed's community was fed, really,
Yeah,
right?
they're fanatics. They're fanatics of Zardoz.
Yeah, and it's funny because Sean Connery made a movie about 12 years later. Wait, no, 7, 8 years later, called The Name of the Rose, which has a similar idea, which is they keep the books away from the other monks to keep them ignorant of certain things about the world, the reality of the world.
Hmm.
And I think this is sort of like that too. They kept the books away from the wait. So, but the thing is, the library that he goes through is deteriorating. Why was that? You know what I mean? Like the library
Yeah, why
that
was
he
that,
goes
Jake?
to. What is that?
I mean, just age, I guess. Like,
There was
people are,
no reason because it looked cool, man.
They look cool. Yeah. I
but I
mean,
mean,
but
it's a
it's
trope.
a library.
Yeah, but it's a trope. It's like, like Equilibrium or V for Vendetta or any of these other, when society kind of regresses on itself, like contracts on itself, scarcity occurs, and people turn into
Mm,
tribes of warring
I am a fan of John Woo. Like, I'm fine with
communities.
that logic of like it's in it because it looks cool. My only
yeah.
problem with this movie is
Maybe that was it.
it's not having as much fun as like Holy Mountain is having, you know. This movie is taking itself seriously, like 2001 is taking itself seriously, but it has the budget of a fucking like, YouTube fucking sketch.
But there's something I appreciate about the low rent feel to it though. There's something I really appreciate that they just stuck mirrors together or they
I'll
just
tell you,
poured water on glass.
I'll tell you this, the budget of Holy Mountain is less than this. I don't even know, but I can just make that assumption,
Okay.
right?
It says projected, IMDb says projected 1.5 million in today's dollars.
And how much is Holy Mountain?
That was Holy Mountain.
That was 1.5 is Holy Mountain.
Yeah.
So
But it's
so they're
like
both the same.
there's
So
a
they're both
problem.
around the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
but who knows? I mean, who knows? And whether that's adjusted for
But
inflation.
Holy
Did this
Mountain feels like those set pieces feel like, like really like artistic to me. This one for some reason is like there's something that's like just doesn't like click, or for me didn't click, you know.
do you think like do you think that they're doing like some artists know what art's supposed to look like, so they sort of mimic it?
Hmm.
Do you get that sense? Like
Yes.
where
Yes.
I don't know, what you're asking, but like I feel like he knows that this is cool and artistic, and it doesn't really, are you saying like it doesn't feel
Like
like,
the impression of a good movie, like of
oh,
this
okay,
really deep,
gotcha.
like uh
Yeah.
it's like it's like 2001 in a funhouse mirror, you know. It's like that's what it
Yeah.
would look like.
Yeah, I just I didn't watch 2001 enough to understand, but yeah, like those cologne commercials that people had in the 90s sort of, you know, do these artistic things where they, whisper to each other and they kind of walk around. It's very pretentious.
A lot of that stuff, I was like, man, you haven't built up the world enough, like, the ideas didn't like fly enough for me to like, go on that journey. When in 2001 you see that baby in space, you see him old in that room, you see the bone thrown in, there's enough meat there for you to like chew on it, to intellectually like let the mind running. As I was watching this, it felt like disingenuous, like that, like an impression of like
Mm.
a Carter movie,
It's not sincere. Yeah, you
Not
don't feel the
sincere.
sincerity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's like they're trying to do this. They're trying to break Sean Connery's image. They're trying to
Mm.
make a trippy movie because
Yeah.
what's popular
Well,
right
that
now.
that that
It's
could be a major
70s,
part.
like the fucking
That
trippy
definitely could that definitely could be a major part of it though, Abene, because Connery is not seen as like an artistic
artistic. No, I read that too.
figure, right?
They kind of dismissed him a little bit, that he's just like a one-dimensional like model type, like he's not an actor.
Well, Burt Reynolds would have been worse, I think, but like,
I feel
in that
like would
era,
have been more fun, like interesting. There's a
what
lot
would have been
of
in that
like
era?
joylessness in like his portrayal of Zed for me.
Who would you have casted then? Let's say it's not Connery, an
Like,
English actor, you know,
it's a good question.
like a young Malcolm McDowell, you know, a young what's that dude from Albert Finney, maybe? Like
Hmm.
I cast an English person, but like from that era, who would
Mhm.
it be? Connery has a commercial appeal, and it looks weird in this type of movie. I think. I think that's
How
sort of
about
what caused this
how
to be
about
weird.
Clint Eastwood, the man with no name? That would have been a
Well,
genre. He
now
comes
wait a
with
minute.
a
Wait a
red
minute.
bandolier,
Now you laugh, but
and he doesn't say many words. Like that is the trope they were trying to also like subvert, or not subvert, like kind of use.
yeah, the silent
Doesn't speak much, like the Merc. The,
hero. Yeah, but you laugh, but the Beguiled is a lot like that. The Beguiled. You know, Clint Eastwood is really amazing in that. Like he lets the women do all the talking. So
Jack Nicholson would have been great in this.
Jack Nicholson. Okay.
And I wish then he would have even directed it, like just gone for it.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, like Connery just feels out of place here, right? Like the more I think about it, the more I look at him. Like, wow, he kind of. I mean,
It just didn't connect. I feel like it was a hit and a miss.
yeah, I think it feels like this might have been his attempt at being more serious, like you said, a
His
serious
attempt
actor.
at like checking a box. He's not going all in. Neither is the director like, this is my passion project. It's like a plan B movie and you can see it.
But I mean, I feel like that's okay, right? Like
I mean,
everybody
he's clearly
can make
talented
one.
enough that you can see some like flourishes in there, in the production design, in the
Oh yeah, like even like I said, even if this is his worst movie,
not
it's
bad.
amazing.
It's pretty
It's pretty
fucking
damn
fun.
amazing,
No,
you know?
I was saying like it's probably the best worst movie of all time.
You know, it's funny, like directors of this era, even their worst movies are actually really good. Like
Hmm.
Sidney Lumet, even his worst movies are really good. That's how starved I think we are really of good storytellers, I think, today. Like even people's bad movies today are really bad, you know. It almost defines them.
It's like,
But
they teach like in school about like the law of conversion, where like, gazelle eats a plant, gets like
Mm,
1%. Lion eats the
yeah.
gazelle, gets that 10%. Say, for example, like whatever thing eats the lion, like there's a degradation, of conversion. Maybe that's
Oh,
not God. Maybe
derivative.
I'm
Yeah,
saying, yeah,
yeah.
maybe I'm
A
fucking messing. Fucking
derivative. Yeah.
yeah. So that's what's fucking happened to movies, I feel. Because I feel that so much. I've been like going ham on like the Criterion channel. Like
Mm,
I just recently watched His Girl Friday. Before that, I was watching some noir film on there, Leave Her to Heaven.
right.
Like, man, there is so much like craft in these movies that's so obvious, even if you don't get the context of
Yeah.
it, it's so evident, like it's jumping off the screen. Because
Well, okay, but like what you're saying is the people who were working then got their 10,000 hours, you know? They
they were
were
also like
skilled craftspeople.
they had that thing which was more American, which is now missing, which is like a kind of like blue collar workman's like kind of like
Yeah.
ideology, where it's like you clock into work, you punch in, and you do your like 12-hour, 13-hour shift, and you
Yeah.
repeat that,
And you get
6 days in a row, and you try to do doubles if you can. Like that
yeah,
type of like mentality puts in, first of all, your 10,000 hours much earlier, and then
correct.
that's when you really get to like see, the
Yeah.
like stuff. Like all of
So
these
wait a
people
minute.
who you see in the most basic films have had so much experience before, like they even get to like, be considered for a lead. Like just the hierarchy of the studio system. I feel like that bred like talent, whereas now every like, for every kid who can afford a DSLR gets to tell a story. And maybe not
Yeah.
every storyteller, And so you're bombarded with like just fluffy nonsense.
Well, they don't they automatically call themselves a director, you know?
Because
You
everyone
know,
doesn't mean anything.
you realize this movie came out 3 years before Star Wars.
That is pretty wild though.
That's insane, right?
That's wild.
I only say that because there's a shot.
Because I can see Star Wars taking some inspiration from this for sure.
Oh, oh
For
man,
sure.
like I just as I you were saying that, I see this girl with the buns on the side of her head. I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Oh yeah, and then the the massacre at the end. Yeah, the massacre at the end. Oh shit.
Hilarious.
They're begging to be killed, I think. A couple of
Yeah,
them.
they're running towards the guns.
Yeah.
Me,
I think that's, the audience really speaking.
dude, that's another.
Oh,
Like, I don't know how they were shooting. Like, I laughed at the little clip you sent too. Like, the guns
yeah.
really don't look like blanks, man. Like, they
He's
like
like, I can't work anymore. Just blew him
right in
away.
their face.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah. I think it's sort of the composition of him and his diaper and shooting a guy
And that's
because
the whole thing too. Like, what is society is this? They're in 2293, but instead of a laser or any sort of gun, many guns you could have, he's holding a revolver, but he's wearing a red
oh right,
bandolier.
not like a ray gun. Yeah.
Yeah, and not wearing cowboy boots. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Like knee-high like boots, like
Well, I mean,
like
if you want to talk
something
about
like
That looked like a 45 caliber, so that's as far
what
as guns
PPK.
go. They're pretty.
well, if you want to talk about Star Wars, maybe this is just an alternate universe, you know, of 2293,
Yeah, I don't know quite.
or
No, no, no,
2239 or
no, no, no.
whatever it
This
is.
isn't an alternate universe because they talk about preserving humanity's achievements and they're human scientists and they were the best of the best and all that.
Well,
This
let's
oh,
assume that's the alternate universe. It's like the multiverse, let's say.
now everything is multiverse, but like
I know,
as
and
far
they were ahead of their time. Yeah.
as as far as the logic of the movie is concerned, this is supposed to be our world in the future, and yet somehow it begins with being like a meta farce. And that's
Yeah.
the cop out of the movie is, like fuck you, man. Don't fucking begin the movie telling me it's a farce. So now I have to waste my 2 hours with this bullshit.
So are they okay? So when they first watched it without that intro, people didn't think it was like if you go into it knowing it's a farce, then is your attitude different? Not really. Kind of
But
weird.
it was, man. It's just the way, the nature of like, it's not even like I mean, first of all, they're hammering you on the head with the Wizard of Oz reference, man. It's like, Jesus Christ. This, highlighting their cheapness with it, with the way the head like moves, and the guy's performance was for some reason annoying for me. Like that just set the stage for like at what level is this movie gonna perform? It's gonna
Right.
be this kind of farcical level.
So everybody gets killed in the end. Sorry to spoil it, but except they kind of go off into and hide off in a cave and survive and procreate and all that. So what are they?
Not a new world like an Adam and Eve something. So now
Yeah,
they're
but what are they?
like a
What are
Christian.
they saying here? What are they saying here? Because the Zardonians or whatever they want to call those guys come down and kill everyone, and then what? And what happens after this? What are they trying to say here?
Yeah, Jake. What are they trying to say here?
Yeah, Jake.
I think maybe they all got what they wanted in the end.
A little combination of both of their worlds.
Also,
They
that
have
thing,
an ending. It's not a tragedy. It's a comedy. All of the characters get what they wanted.
dude, the thing with the whole romance with him and Charlotte Rampling was such a left turn. Like
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
movies, like on this tangent and whatnot. I thought he had more of a chance with like dating May because she's
yeah. I thought that
and
was good. What
whatnot.
was going to happen?
She's
Yeah,
like completely focused, and then for out of suddenly nowhere, she comes trying to stab him, and he's like, "Nah, no stab."
yeah. Well,
Marry.
I think he always had an attraction towards her.
Yes, but she out of nowhere is like, "Oh, you're the best now."
Yeah, that's where it's kind of weird. But because everybody in their society got killed, I think that she just had no other option at that
Oh,
point.
okay. You're misremembering this. She is coming with her entire crew to like find him because he's been on the hide. She
Okay.
finds him. She's the one who finds him at first in the library. He about to stab him with a fucking dagger. He
Okay.
starts like shivering, and he turns around and he throws the dagger, and then she falls to her like feet, and she's like, "Oh,
Oh.
now I'm in love with you."
Huh.
He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna marry you later. Fuck off for now." And
Yeah.
she turns around and she walks away and tells the group, "He's not here. I couldn't find him." And they all go away. And
Oh,
then
right. Yeah,
starts to
that
jump in.
was quick. Yeah,
I'm
there was
saying,
no develop.
what?
There was no development there.
What?
She folded quick.
Maybe
With
she
his like
just
with his crazy red underwear charm, he just like fucking hypnotized her. Like, what the fuck?
well,
She's
everybody.
supposed
Okay,
to be
but
an
okay,
immortal fucking genius.
everybody in the village was hot for him. The girls were hot for him. You know.
They're intrigued by him at first. Later, they get hot for him.
Well, yeah. I mean, so therefore, she thinks that he's the best option for her.
So the message I'm getting is like, intellectuals become like a bunch of like, impotent cucks, and you need like a real like Sean Connery type hairy man.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
because there's a whole other element in this
And
movie,
then,
apathetics. Those people have come, they're making fun of like
well,
depressed people. They're like basically these people have lost the will to live. They don't do anything. They just stand there. And then Sean Connery comes in and they're like, oh, now I want to fuck. And
yeah,
then everyone
dude.
starts
Yeah.
fucking.
Hell
That's what
yeah.
starts the orgy.
And then Connery's like, I'm in. I
I'm
got to
in.
do this
Put me in a
movie.
wedding dress. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's have some
Got to
fun.
do it. Yeah. That is kind of funny. Like his wardrobe, how everyone's like, hey, how do you convince Sean Connery to wear that and not feel like, you
I feel
know,
like this movie is one big prank on him. They're like,
yeah,
how do we fuck his shit? I
yeah,
hate James Bond. How do I fucking ruin his entire legacy and
yeah,
it in
with one
one big
movie.
movie?
Yeah. But I mean, it's funny how it's just sort of ignored. I kind of want to hear what he had to say if there's ever an interview with his take on Zardoz.
I haven't
You
seen
know,
anything with him saying anything on it.
I've never, I mean, I'm sure like YouTube may have videos on it.
Because it became
It's
common like,
fascinating.
much later. Like it's kind of vanished. It came and like went.
Well, this movie is really fascinating. I mean, I really was so happy to have seen it finally. Honestly, I was really like, man, this is fun to watch, but yeah, like you, I probably wouldn't sit there and watch it on repeat, but it's just something about it I just can't stop watching. you know?
Are you about to make Zardoz Part 2?
Well,
Do I see a Z brewing in there?
there's something also, I love those movies where they sort of repurpose things we're familiar with, right? Like there's this guy's riding a rickshaw, for Christ's sake. I was like, this is kind of cool.
So
Um,
if you were to fix it, Tom, how would you do it?
I
Let
I
say,
honestly
say I
wouldn't.
gave you
I
like
couldn't.
10 million more budget.
No way. I cannot fix this movie in a way that would make it commercial and still retain the integrity of the idea, whatever that would have been, right? I think it's actually really well done. Like I would not fix it. I couldn't. I no way. I wouldn't have the
I thought the
there's no way.
soundtrack little lackluster. So
Okay.
that's one area I would invest in.
Well, what would you do?
Well, one start with the soundtrack, I'd get John Williams in. I'd be like, come on, broski. Here's like
Oh
4
shit.
for you. Go nuts on this. In fact, I'd go do some acid with John Williams and be like, let's both get wild. Like it would be like that scene from Batman. Like I fucking hit something on the wall with with my stick and go, let's go wild.
Yeah, let's do it.
And that's one. Second, it feels a little like I see the strains, I can see the seams on it, and I know you find it charming, but I'm like, you're stuck in Ireland, bro. That's why these fucking like lame chase scenes are happening in like your backyard. Like I would
Mm,
have gone like a little more leaned into the another world dystopian, then I would try to make it like an alternate Earth if they are aliens, or highlight that point like 2001 does so well, where there is like a progress and evolution, kind of talk about some of these grand ideas. They didn't need to be like such major exposition and kind of like just stupid dialogue, where it could have been
mm.
like, I would have taken time with the script a little more and like kind of distilled my ideas into like some really trippy psychedelic sequences. That's what I would have done. And Sean Connery, I mean, I don't know, man. He didn't work for me in this.
Oh,
He felt
yeah, I
like
probably would have. Okay, so that's probably what one thing I may have wanted to do. I know part of the campiness now is because Connery's in it wearing what he's wearing.
yeah.
But if I were to do it back then and take it seriously, like seriously, I probably would recast Sean Connery if that were the case. Yeah.
I would even put like Christopher Walken in there. He'd be interesting.
He kind of well, I like the idea that it is Connery just because he looks so different from the rest of their society because he's such an ape, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe Charlton Heston. Let's put him in all
Charlton
these.
Heston would have actually been
He would have
great.
killed it. Yeah.
Charlton Heston would have killed it.
Yeah. Basically, he's killing dirty damn hippies, you know?
That would have been
Yeah.
yeah.
So that sort of would have made sense. Hey, Jake, what would you have done?
He already thinks it's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, I wouldn't touch it.
Can't ruin perfection.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a product of circumstances and times. It's a work of art. It'd be like saying,
Yeah.
hey, you want to like, I mean, how could you speculate on how to change anyone's art?
What? Okay, so there's a thing in IMDb that said that Borman sometimes doesn't know what some of these scenes mean when he did them. I'm what specific scene do you I feel
It was all
I
pretty.
feel like there are moments that could
clear.
obviously been chopped shorter maybe. Yeah.
Which one?
I think there should have been a lot of scenes chopped
Oh,
maybe shorter.
100%.
Specifically the sort of psychedelic stuff. It's just filler. It feels like filler. You know?
It feels very gratuitous. There was a lot of gratuitous scenes, like with the psychedelics, with some of the like sex scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some shots just lingered like a second or two too long, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that kind of trimming, sure. But beyond that, like I don't think
Well, when
That
they go to the
you know what would
they
have
go
been
to the
Okay,
when they go to the
running out of
old
time.
people's
9 minutes, just letting you
when
know.
they go to the convalescence home, it gets a little bit weird. I think that was a little heavy-handed.
yeah.
You know, that could have been shaved down a lot because it's really repetitive. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
I was
yeah,
thinking that it would have been interesting to not have that sort of prologue in the beginning and just have it start.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
Like
beginning prologue itself
we
is so absurd because it's
all
meant
we
to
piece together on our own. Be cool.
like it's meant to kind of set the stage and the tone, but it's so confusing and like disjointed, the shit he's like spewing. That's where my like feeling of pretentiousness started with this movie. And then
yeah. It's poorly.
so
It's poorly
I
written.
really tried to make sense of like, what is this big metaphor? Like this big fucking head that fucking vomits guns. But it's just
Vomit
ridiculous
guns,
nonsense.
dude.
But it's not, it's fucking nonsense.
I honestly, I was by myself, but I was cheering like a
Like,
fucking.
it's
I was like Ted
nonsense.
Nugent. I can straight up like Ted Nugent. One
It's
foot up
like
on the coffee
it's like
table,
an
playing air
NRA.
guitar.
It's like the NRA's like wet dream or something. Like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there was
Go
such a
get them.
there's so many non sequiturs in this movie like that.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyway, yeah. No, it's a. I mean, again, I'm really glad I got a chance to see it finally. You know, and I love seeing things from anamorphic in this era. Scope in 1970s is just beautiful.
I do see though like a lot of influences from like modern movies in this, and I don't know if I'm making like huge leaps, but I see Matrix in this.
Mm,
Such a big parallel to Matrix. Like he's in the library, like learning all the knowledge. Like Neo is in there, like gaining all the knowledge. He realizes he's part of like a fake, like fake reality, and he has to peer through. Like he gets red pilled, basically. Zed.
mm, yeah.
Like, there's a big like Matrix parallel here.
Yeah.
That's do you think which of the save the cat genres do you think it is?
Save the cat.
It's like
Shoot.
Golden
Fantasy?
Fleece.
That's the most difficult thing to like describe what genre this fits into.
Fantasy?
And it's yeah, like the save the cat ones are like
It's sci-fi, it's satire, it's
yeah, I get those. Those are all perfect.
action,
Those are
comedy.
genres, yeah. Those are genres, though.
So which one are the Save the Cat genres?
These ones are Monster in the House, Golden Fleece, Out of the Bottle, Dude with a Problem.
Dude with a problem.
Well, I was like, maybe it's Dude with a Problem or Golden Fleece. Right?
Wait,
Or Golden Fleece, yeah. But I mean, what is his Golden Fleece?
could you
Knowledge?
repeat those one more time?
Knowledge.
Accomplishing his goals. Well, maybe at first it's accomplishing his goal of like killing all the people. But then he's
Yeah.
like, whoa, knowledge. You're right.
Me like knowledge.
Hey, look, strange. So why does
Yeah,
it? That's more of like a noir detective thing.
No, but when does
Yeah.
his goal become about having babies with Charlotte Rampling? Like when does that turn come?
Superhero. Maybe it was a superhero movie.
I think it's dude with a problem. Like he's sort of like internally suffering a lot of
out of
questions.
the bottle.
Yeah.
He's
Anyway, cool.
Oh,
that was Zardoz. The gun
Yeah,
is
that was
this
Zardoz.
is evil. So what were the final like takeaways from this movie? Like what
Zardoz. Um,
was that James Earl Jones, by the way?
no,
The voice of Zardoz, like the when he's speaking from the speaker?
I don't.
no. That's no.
Are you sure?
No. Pretty sure he's not in the credits if he is.
Zardoz.
So yeah, my takeaway from this movie is that you can make a movie with non sequiturs, but in the core, if you have a core value idea, it still sort of functions well. THX 1138 sort of has this sort of sensibility too, like this tone of it. I don't know why, I feel this way, but there's some, maybe it's just a 70s thing, but like there's a tonal thing similar to THX 1138
Yeah,
that I felt.
there's a wave there. That's a good
Yeah.
one. I was gonna pick that for the next roulette spin. For the next
Which one? Which one?
THX 1138.
Checks
At the Coppola film?
It's George Lucas.
Oh, Harrison Ford is in that, no?
No, he's not. It's Duvall, Robert Duvall.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's shot too perf. Yeah. So, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is, man, fitness standards were really different in the 70s. That guy, in their mind, they were like, damn, that Connery looks ripped, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks like if I ever looked like that, I'd be worried like I was fucking unhealthy, you know? He looks like he has the confidence in his face of a man, you know, who's like women
Yeah.
are dying for. He walks into a commune and they're just like losing their shit.
Yeah. I mean, he's a man. All the other ones are kind of effeminate,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, the little cucks.
Yeah. Jake?
Well, it's a good example of like low budget, achievable, one location, creative, sci-fi, fantasy, adventure film. Shot on
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
Amen.
It's a fun movie.
I like the term achievable, you know?
Yeah, it's achievable.
Yeah.
He has a very DIY spirit for sure.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that a lot. Yeah.
And I mean, in the end, if like making a film wants to make you gonna make another film, then that's a good film
Yeah, exactly.
because it's sparking that, you know, in you, the force.
Yeah, dude.
Right on. All right, man. You good?
Minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm gonna bounce, so I'll catch you guys
Cool. Next week.
on the next one.
The next
Right
one.
on.
Until
Good talking to you
next time,
guys.
penis is good, but
Zardoz.
the gun is evil. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.